Necron Novokh Dynasty Previews, Canoptek Wraiths and Flayed ones. Oh yes!
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today we're going to have a look at the Novokh Dynasty. Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so in today's video we're going to have a look at the Necron previews for the Novokh Dynasty. I'm very excited to have a look at these, as I tend to play a lot of Assault Necron list, in particular with my Flayed ones. I have 60 Flayed ones and quite a few Wraiths. So let's get straight to it and have a look at the previews. Okay, so let's take a look at the first paragraph. One of the most exciting things about the latest batch of codexes is the new types of army builds they have made available to Warhammer 40,000 players. Codex Necrons is no exception. So far we've looked at the unusually mobile armies of the Necron Dynasty and the short-range carnage wrought by the Wraith Dynasty. And you can check out both of my videos on those dynasties in the description below. More than others, however, there is one dynastic code that reinvents how your army works. Traditionally, Necrons are well known for being a shooty army, with a couple of deadly close combat units to deal with anyone that reaches your lines to hold down particular dangerous enemies. The Novokh Dynasty turns this archetype on its head with Awakened by Murder. And that of course is the new dynasty rule for Novokh, meaning you can re-roll any failed hits in close combat with units from this particular dynasty. Pretty awesome if you like close combat. Okay, so now GW direct us towards a particular unit to take advantage of the Dynasty Code. They say there are several units that are particularly effective with the Dynastic Code, but our favourite has to be Flayed ones. Now I think we all know why GW are recommending Flayed ones in the new edition, and that's probably because they're not really selling many of the models. I have a lot of complaints come my way regarding the new Finecast models, also the sculpts themselves, and of course how much they are. To get a reasonable amount of Flayed ones on the table is quite costly. My 60 Flayed ones are all metal ones. I collected them over a good amount of time. Some were given to me, most of them I got off of eBay, and I had to repair a lot of them, repairing their claws, etc. Possibly one good way to go is to buy a box of warriors and convert them into Flayed ones. A lot of people tend to do that. However, let's find out how good Flayed ones are now. Okay, so this is what they say about Flayed ones. Having received a marked points cut in the new Necron Codex, excellent, that's what we like to see, that's what we needed. Flayed ones are a great option for a melee orientated Necron's army. Matching the impressive durability of their brethren, Flayed ones can tackle even the toughest enemies thanks to their rerolls to wound, whilst the reroll to hits provided by the Novokh Dynasty Code are icing on the cake. Would recommend going all out and taking units of 20, then activating the disruption field stratagem for the best results, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, 20 Flayed ones. I have played my army with 3 units of 20 Flayed ones. I have to say it definitely didn't work as well as having 6 units of 10. I think the smaller units generally are better, especially for 8th edition. We've got a lot of missions which are relying on grabbing objectives, either for Maelstrom missions or the Eternal War missions. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend units of 20. Obviously GW want to take 20 because they want to sell you as many models as they can. However, maybe the stratagem is why we're taking 20, so let's have a look at it. Okay, so the stratagem is 1 command point, and it says use this stratagem before a Necron's infantry unit from your army fights in the fight phase. Increase the strength characteristic of all models in the unit by 1 until the end of the phase. 1 command point to make the whole unit an extra strength. That's going to make Flayed ones strength 5. That's going to make quite a big difference, meaning you can wound Space Marines on a 3 and those toughness 5 things on a 4. So I really like that stratagem, but does it change the unit size? Well, I don't think it does. I think I'd still rather have 2 squads of 10 rather than 1 big squad of 20. I think you've got better chances of getting the unit into the assault. Remember, you're going to be coming down and there's a risk that you're not going to be able to charge from the deep strike. So rather than leaving a squad of 20 in the open, it's probably best to leave a squad of 10 in the open, and hopefully the other squad will be able to get into the assault. So I don't think a unit of 20 is the way to go. However, there is more, so let's read the next stratagem. Okay, so now they reveal another stratagem. However, this one is 3 command points. It's called Blood Rites, and they say, is your enemy still alive? Give it another go with Blood Rites.
Necrons!
Use this stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Select a Novokh unit from your army. That unit can immediately fight for a second time. 3 command points. Sounds a lot, doesn't it? But that is pretty extreme. You could be able to hit twice with your flayed ones or your other units. Now I think for 3 points it is quite expensive, but under the right circumstances, if you have the points left, probably end game. You have the potential to really hurt your opponent on an objective right at the end of the game, assuming your unit is still alive at the end of the game and you have enough command points left. I still don't think it's enough to warrant us taking a big squad of 20 flayed ones. I think I'd rather have 2 units of 10 still, but I'd love to know what you think. Do you think 20 flayed ones in 1 unit is the way to go or not? Let me know in the comments box below as we move on to Wraiths. Okay, so Canoptek Wraiths. Against more heavily armoured opponents, you'll need to pack some specialist weapons. Thankfully, a certain Canoptek unit has received some significant enhancements. In Codex Necrons, Canoptek Wraiths have been granted additional damage and AP on their close combat attacks, making them superb hunters of heavy infantry. By using yours with Awakened by Murder, i.e. reroll hits, you'll be able to ensure that your attacks land and deal maximum damage when they charge. And then there's a comparison sheet between the Wraiths in the Index and the Wraiths in the Codex. The Codex Wraiths now have -2 AP as opposed to -1 AP, and they deal out 2 damage rather than 1 damage. Not only that, the whip coils have changed as well. The whip coils are now -2. The effects are still the same. Basically, if you die, you can still attack. I don't think the lash whips are worth taking still, but it does depend on how many points they are. Okay, then they go on to say, defensively, Canoptek Wraiths are even more difficult to get rid of, as if 3 wounds, a 3+ invulnerable save and toughness 5 wasn't durable enough. You'll be able to bring units back from the brink of destruction with repair subroutines. 2 command points, exactly the same as it was in chapter approved. So basically you're able to do RP on a unit of Wraiths. Now personally, I've had quite a lot of success with this particular stratagem. Yes, it is 2 command points, so it's not exactly cheap, but under the right circumstances it really does work well, and one of those right circumstances is to have a cryptic nearby. I generally have been using the Veil of Darkness to get my cryptic over by the Wraiths, turning that 5+ RP into a 4+ RP, and that's exactly what they say in the preview here. Make sure you keep a cryptic nearby to ensure the best results. Then it says, Novokh Dynasty armies are ideal for Necron players who want to take the fight directly to their enemy. GW, have you been watching my videos? So yeah, judging from that preview, the Novokh Dynasty are going to be ideal for my particular army with the Wraiths and the Flayed ones, and also Scarabs as well. So I'm really looking forward to getting this army on the table. Now of course, we could potentially combine this particular dynasty with one of the other dynasties for the shooting element, keep this for the assault element. That's probably something which I'm going to do. However, we do still have some more dynasties to look at, and that's the Necron Dynasty, which will come in tomorrow's video. Beam me up!